Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Business 360, where we break down the numbers, connect the dots, and give you the developments and the insights you need to navigate, adapt, and lead. Let's dive right in. U.S. stocks take a nosedive after President Donald Trump refuses to rule out a recession, sending investors into a selling frenzy. Back in the Philippines, former President Rodrigo Duterte and Vice President Sara Duterte are expected to arrive in Manila today amid intensifying political speculation. And in Canada, British Columbia strikes back, pulling American alcohol from government stores in retaliation to President Trump's new tariffs. All that and more coming up. First, let's take a look at how financial markets performed overnight. Now, Wall Street took a big hit. U.S. stocks plunged as fears of a federal government shutdown added to recession worries. Investors dumped shares amid growing uncertainty over President Trump's tariffs, fueling economic volatility. In a weekend interview, Trump described the U.S. economy as entering a period of transition and refused to rule out a recession, adding to market jitters. With uncertainty looming, all eyes are now on the Federal Reserve and how Washington will respond.
Markets continue to sell off in the wake of additional and continued uncertainty around what the Trump tariff situation is going to look like. We have a lot of different numbers and a lot of different trading partners that keep coming up in the news. And we're kind of waiting to see where things land today, the next hour, the next week. And market participants hate uncertainty. And there's a lot of uncertainty around this right now.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average sank 2.1%, the S&P 500 lower by 2.7%, and the Nasdaq tanked by 4%. Very sharp, the Nasdaq. Now, elsewhere in the world, over in Europe, the FTSE 100 in the UK down by 1%, Germany's DAX lower by 1.7%, and France's CAC 40 lower by 1%. Foreign direct investment, or FDI, net inflows into the Philippines plunged to $110 million in December, marking the lowest level in 11 years. Data from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or BSP, shows this is a sharp 85.2% drop from the $743 million recorded in December of 2023. This also makes it the weakest FDI inflow since December of 2013, when it stood at $102.16 million. The BSP attributes the decline to higher debt repayments by Philippine corporations to their foreign investors, which limited new inflows. The slump in FDI signals a potential slowdown in capital investments, which could impact job creation, business expansion, and the country's economic momentum. With investor confidence shaken, the Philippines may need stronger policy incentives, improved infrastructure, and stable regulatory conditions, to attract sustainable long-term investments. The Philippine agricultural trade gap narrows to $1 billion in January, a sign of stronger export performance in the sector. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, shows this is nearly 3% lower than the $1.3 billion deficit recorded in January of last year. The improvement comes as agricultural export revenue surged by almost 33% to $715.25 million, up from $538.68 million in January 2024. The stronger export growth highlights increasing global demand for Philippine agricultural products, potentially boosting farm income and rural economic activity. However, the trade gap remains wide, reflecting the country's continued dependence on agricultural imports. Greater investments in local production and export competitiveness will be key to narrowing this gap further. Former President Rodrigo Duterte and Vice President Sara Duterte are set to return to the Philippines today amid speculation about their next moves. This comes after reports suggested they might seek political asylum in China if the International Criminal Court issues an arrest warrant against them, claims their camp has not confirmed. The Dutertes recently met with the Filipino community in Hong Kong, where the former president defended his controversial war on drugs amid ongoing scrutiny. Former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo reasserts that the International Criminal Court has no jurisdiction over the Philippines following the country's withdrawal from the tribunal. Speaking on BNC's On Point, Panelo argued that the ICC cannot intervene in Philippine matters. However, his claim was challenged by ICC Assistant to Counsel Attorney Cristina Conti, who explains that the court still holds jurisdiction over the cases filed before the withdrawal took effect.
Well, Malacanang should be counseled, should be advised, should be cautioned that the moment this government cooperates for the arrest of any Filipino citizen, whether that's President Duterte or other person, then it violates the Constitution. Hence, any police officer or group of policemen who effect the arrest of any Filipino citizen in violation of the Constitution, as well as the person ordering the assistance or the cooperation of this country to arrest a Filipino citizen in connection with a warrant of arrest illegally issued by a foreign institution which has no jurisdiction in our country, then the same government official is liable under the law.
Na pag-usapan na yan, nasara na yan, and even the Philippine Supreme Court has said we have continuing obligations with the International Criminal Court. Does the court exist? Yes. Did the court have jurisdiction over the Philippines when we were a member? Yes. Mm-hmm. And would the court have authority to issue a warrant as regards an investigation that started as early as February 2018? Mm-hmm. To February 2018, the preliminary examination started. June 2021, they started with the investigation, or they asked that the investigation be started. So from our point of view, this has been ongoing since 2018 at the time when we were still a member of the court. And if you remember, that is precisely why President Duterte asked by March 2018 to leave the court.
This debate highlights the broader implications for the Philippines as the ICC's possible actions could affect the country's international relations, legal standing, and foreign investor confidence. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, says it's ready should the International Criminal Court request Interpol's help to arrest former President Rodrigo Duterte. This comes as the ICC prosecutor refuses to confirm or deny reports that an arrest warrant has been issued against the former leader. What could this mean for the Philippines? Paolo Barcelon reports.
National police officials say they don't have any documents or information on the reported warrant of arrest against ex-President Rodrigo Duterte from the International Criminal Court. But PNP spokesperson Police Brigadier General Jean Fajardo stressed they are ready for any eventuality.
As of now, ma'am, wala pa po tayong verifiable information as to the reported na warrant of arrest issued by the ICC.
On Monday, the Manila Times reported that 7,000 cops are tasked to arrest the former chief executive. Citing an unimpeachable source, the Times reported that the cops are also preparing for the arrest's potential impact on public safety. But the PNP flatly denied these reports. Just this weekend, photos and videos of police movements around the Davao International Airport went viral on social media.
Nakausap po natin yung mga taga Davao po, and according to them, yung mga movement po ng ating mga kapulisan doon is just part of the simulation exercise and relating po sa kanilang security preparation for Davao.
The PNP adds, there is a simulation exercise happening across the country. Fajardo emphasized the PNP will not directly talk to the International Criminal Court and will wait for Interpol to issue a notice. And because the PNP is part of Interpol, they will follow the organization's requests.
Under the principle of reciprocity, like the case nga po ni Alice Guo, yun po yung classic example na sinasabi ko na the same mechanism was used by the Philippine National Police when we monitored the presence nga po ni Alice Guo sa Indonesia. Through the Interpol, we sought assistance through the Interpol, kaya po napabalik po siya dito.
Any PNP officer would be allowed to arrest former President Rodrigo Duterte if a warrant is issued against him. But until that time, police officials say they will not contribute to speculations about what could happen to their former commander-in-chief. Paolo Barcelon, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Motorists get a welcome price cut as oil prices are set to drop today. Gasoline prices will be cut by 1 peso and 70 centavos per liter, while diesel will see a rollback of 90 centavos per liter. Kerosene prices will also drop by 1 peso and 80 centavos per liter. The price adjustment comes as U.S. commercial oil stockpiles continue to build up, while OPEC announces plans to increase output next month, driving global oil prices lower. We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line.
Magandang gabi, ako po si Pinky Webb.
At ako naman si Corina Sanchez Rojas.
Kombinasyong Corina Sanchez Rojas at Pinky Webb. Dalawang mamamahayag na subok sa tapang at talino.
Simulcast tayo sa DWAR, Abante Radyo at 94.7 Mellow BFM.
Mapapanood din tayo sa Abante Teletabloid sa SkyCable. Sa bawat issue may anggulo at ang balita may agenda.
Who defines strength? Who shapes the future? Who stands tall even in the face of challenges? Women of substance are everywhere. They build, they heal, they lead, they love. We celebrate you because you matter. Happy National Women's Month.
Let's take a look at how bourses in Asia are faring in early trade right now. Let's take a look. Following Wall Street's nosedive overnight, as expected, markets in Asia are deeply in the red. The Nikkei 225 lower by 2.5% almost. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index lower by 1.33%. Shanghai's Composite down by 0.6%. And Singapore's Straits Times Index lower by 1.44%. Let's take a look at how our market is doing right here at home. Recall, Philippine shares climbed for a sixth straight session on Monday, driven by expectations the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas may begin cutting interest rates as early as next month. Investors remain optimistic following latest February inflation figures. Now, the Philippine PSEI index jumped 1% to 6360, its highest level in nearly 7 weeks. But today, we may take a different turn. Right now, as of 10:20 this morning, the main gauge is lower by 1.2%. Back at the 6,200 level, we're at 6285 right now. All shares indexed down as well. Seeing a sea of red. All shares indexed down by 0.7% to 3721. All the sub-indices are trading lower, markedly lower in early trade, especially the industrial, services, mining, and oil and property counters, which are all lower by well over 1%. Now, at the foreign exchange market, the peso opened weaker at 57.45 against the greenback from its previous close of 57.41. Now, in other news, Ayala Corporation gets a credit boost as it secures an A- rating from the Japan Credit Rating Agency, a strong signal of its financial stability and resilience amid market uncertainties. In a statement, Ayala Corporation said that the rating reflects a relatively high level of creditworthiness and a strong capacity to meet financial commitments. With a stable outlook, the rating may help the conglomerate tap credit and capital markets more efficiently, potentially lowering borrowing costs and supporting expansion plans. Ayala Corp Treasurer Estelito Biacoro called this an affirmation of the company's strong credit standing, further enhancing its funding sources amid market volatility. Led by Bilyonaryo Jaime Augusto Zubel de Ayala, the conglomerate plays a major role in key sectors such as real estate, banking, telecommunications, and renewable energy, with a growing presence in healthcare, mobility, and logistics. This credit upgrade not only strengthens Ayala Corporation's position, but also signals confidence in Philippine corporates amid global economic headwinds, potentially attracting more foreign investors into the local market. Now, on another front, Malacanang names a new officer in charge of the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT. Undersecretary Paul Mercado is designated as the acting head of the DICT following the resignation of Secretary Ivan Uy. Mercado, who currently serves as Undersecretary for Special Concerns, will lead the agency until a permanent replacement is appointed. Now, the U.S.-Canada trade war just got more personal, with British Columbia striking back by pulling American alcohol from its store shelves. In a major retaliatory move, BC Premier David Eby ordered the removal of U.S. beer, wine, and spirits from government liquor stores following Trump's new tariffs on Canadian goods. With Ontario already taking a similar stance, pressure is mounting for other provinces to join the boycott, escalating tensions between two of the world's biggest trading partners. Beyond alcohol, this trade standoff could hit businesses, disrupt supply chains, and add global uncertainty as countries reevaluate their trade policies. Could this turn into a full-blown economic showdown? Only time will tell. Now, high-level talks in Jeddah. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio meets with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to discuss the war in Ukraine and security threats in the Middle East. The U.S. State Department said Rubio thanked the Crown Prince for helping facilitate peace talks on Ukraine and efforts to end the war. The two leaders also addressed growing threats from Houthi attacks in Yemen, which endanger global shipping, American interests, and Saudi infrastructure. The discussion also covered ways to promote political stability in Syria and reconstruction plans for Gaza. With escalating conflicts across multiple regions, the outcome of these talks could influence global diplomacy and shape future strategic alliances. Now, just hours after meeting U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman hosts Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as diplomatic efforts to end the war with Russia intensify. The meeting in Jeddah comes ahead of Zelensky's crucial talks with U.S. officials, where Washington hopes to push a peace strategy forward. The Crown Prince reaffirmed Saudi Arabia's support in resolving the Ukraine crisis, continuing its role as a key broker in that conflict. Saudi Arabia has already facilitated prisoner exchanges and hosted high-level talks between Moscow and Washington, solidifying its position in global peace negotiations. With major powers seeking solutions, the pressure is on to turn diplomatic momentum into real action. And that's it for Business 360. I'm Maiki Oreta. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo news channel, for the latest on the former President Duterte's arrival at NAIA and more.